Is that going to be a new thing? Are you going to try to be early?
Yes, I'm trying to be early.
Are you going to be early for my party?
Yes, I am. No.
Oh.
You know I have to arrive fashionably late.
All right. Not too late, though.
Not too late?
Not too late, please.
What time would you like me there?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But not too late. Because, you know, once you get there, the party really starts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I promise you I'm not going to let you down on this big one.
All right,
For
good.
real.
Good.
Your shoes, your feet are going to have blisters. You're going to be dancing so hard.
There was a time when most people didn't really question what they saw. Celebrities attended events, networked with each other, and moved within the same elite circles. It all felt normal. But lately, something has changed. The way people look at these connections, the way they interpret public appearances, and the way they analyze even the smallest details. It's all different now. And it only takes one name to shift the entire conversation. In this case, that name was Ellen. The moment Ellen DeGeneres became part of these ongoing discussions, everything escalated, not because of any confirmed information, but because of what her name represents: influence, access, and years of connections within powerful social circles. And once that name entered the conversation, people started digging. Old interviews were brought back, clips that no one paid attention to before suddenly mattered. Photos, events, interactions, everything was being re-examined. And as people started looking closer, another familiar name kept appearing: Sean Diddy Combs. Now, on the surface, this isn't unusual. Public figures often attend the same events, move in similar circles, and interact within the same industries. But the internet wasn't looking at it that way anymore. This time, people were looking for patterns. And once that mindset begins, everything starts to connect. Not necessarily because it's proven, but because it feels consistent. And that's where things started to shift even more. Because once people began connecting these dots, they didn't stop with just one or two names. They expanded the search. They started looking at everyone who had been part of similar environments. And that's when a new focus emerged: Erika Kirk. And
that man, that young man, I forgive him.
Till recently, she wasn't a central figure in online discussions. She existed more in the background, present, but not deeply analyzed. But suddenly, that changed. Her name started appearing more often. People began asking questions. Who is she connected to? What kind of spaces has she been part of? And how often do those spaces overlap with others being discussed?
Ellen DeGeneres and Erika Kirk have a lot more in common than you might have realized.
Very controversial pizza. That looks great. Very stereotypical.
Your lady parts.
A mini mood for JJ and a pizza.
Kirk's ex-boyfriend Kabat Shalom was on Ellen DeGeneres' show being all fake and gay. And if you know about Kabat having a pizza tattoo on his...
What followed was something the internet has become incredibly good at. Observation. Not official investigation, but collective observation. People started revisiting her past appearances, old clips, event photos, professional connections, and slowly a pattern seemed to form. Or at least, that's how it appeared to those watching closely. One of the biggest points of discussion was her presence in high-access social circles. These are environments where not everyone gets invited, spaces where influence, status, and connections matter.
Thumbs up! Look how cute that is! Sorry, this is a little bit more informal than probably Charlie would be reacting. How sweet! I didn't know they could do that. I hate Zoom. I never like Zoom. Sorry, you guys. I just wanted to say, first and foremost, my heart obviously is broken for you guys as much as it is for our family. You guys lost not only a boss, but someone that you looked up to, someone that you believed in his mission, that you also that you loved. You loved listening to his show. You loved hearing his wisdom on things. I'm sure some of you have also had very personal moments of where you sat down and had private conversations with him. I want you all to hold on to those. And I want you all to remember those so deeply. I want you to journal about them. I want you to be able to tell your kids about them. I want you to put those in your heart as why you're still here with the Turning Point USA family, because that's what we want. And like I said to our small group after whatever day that was, and I did the thing on TV, how many days are still around Good Friday. I told the team, I said, Turning Point USA will continue like my husband always wanted, and it'll be bigger than ever. And we're going to honor him by doing that. We're going to stay humble. We're going to work hard because that's what he would want. And we're going to just make it grow. And we're going to keep our eyes fixed on heaven. And, you know, like even Stacey said, he's gonna find ways to speak to us. Honestly, the nights are the hardest. Mornings are pretty raw too. But just what I've noticed these past several days is if I didn't have the family, the Turning Point USA family with me, or with you, I would be a disaster. I mean, I would be in fetal position 24/7. But the fact that we have a continued mission to look forward to, and we have our family, it's everything. And some of you, this is your chosen family. And just rely and lean on each other. That's huge. Leaning on each other is huge because all of you were together prior to this and we'll be together after this. And everything, and I told Justin, it's going to be something where everything before September 10th, any email you were working on, any project you were working on, it's not that it's irrelevant now. It's just things have changed, obviously. And the mission has gotten deeper and the mission will grow deeper. But like, I just want all you to know, we will be wise stewards. We will be vigilant. We will be humble. And I just want you to know that, again, I'm with you. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And we're going to make sure that we honor my husband so well at this whole world. And I was split because his vision was and will be. And it's just, I feel so blessed and honored. And we will do our best to continue to make Turning Point USA the behemoth that he wanted it to be, this massive thing. And it is, and that's why we have to stay humble. But, you know, I just want you guys to stay in prayer. And if you guys do need anything, please reach out to whoever you know to reach out to. And pray with one another, be there with one another, be soft with one another. Everyone leaves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that. You know, weddings and funerals bring out the weirdest side of people. Anyone who's been married knows that. And so don't read into that. Just love on each other.
Now, being part of these circles doesn't automatically mean anything unusual. But when similar patterns appear repeatedly, people start asking questions. And once those questions begin, they don't stop easily. Another detail that became part of the discussion was her involvement in projects connected to international locations, including Romania. On its own, this is completely normal. Many professionals work across countries, collaborate globally, and build networks internationally. But when combined with other observations, it becomes part of a larger narrative. Because the internet doesn't isolate details, it connects them, even when those connections aren't officially confirmed. And this brings us to one of the most important ideas driving this entire conversation: pattern checking. It's simple in theory. Instead of focusing on one event, people look at repetition. The same names appearing in similar spaces, the same types of interactions happening over time, the same environments bringing similar individuals together. And once those repetitions are noticed, they begin to feel intentional, even if there's no proof that they are.
I lived out here. I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my... Very stereotypical.
There's a reunion.
Have you? I hope so too. Have you met Jen before?
No, I haven't. with Courtney and Lisa, and they invited me over for pizza, and Judd Apatow was there too.
You've been to my house. We've had pizza. Girl after my own heart. Do we love a pizza or what? We love a pizza. It's so.
That's the power of patterns. They create meaning, even when that meaning hasn't been verified. But it doesn't stop at actions, because now people are also analyzing behavior, the way people speak in interviews, the tone they use, the pauses they take, even small moments that once seemed insignificant are now being examined closely. Some believe there are inside references, phrases that carry more meaning than they appear to. Others think it's simply overanalysis. But either way, the conversation continues to grow. And then there's something even more interesting. Silence. Sometimes, what isn't said becomes more important than what is. When certain topics stop being discussed, or when certain individuals suddenly become less visible, it creates curiosity. People begin to ask why. Was it intentional? Was it coincidental? Or is there something more behind it? These unanswered questions often become the foundation for even more speculation. At one point, discussions even expanded to include past events involving other public figures, moments that already have official explanations, but are still being revisited, not necessarily to challenge facts, but to search for deeper connections. And this is where the conversation becomes more complex, because at this stage, it's no longer about individual events. It's about building a bigger picture, a structure, a system that people believe might exist beneath the surface of what we see publicly. Some refer to this idea as a hidden map, not a literal map, but a way of connecting people, places, and interactions into something that feels organized. A network that explains how influence moves, how certain circles operate, and how connections are maintained over time. For some people, this feels like uncovering something real. For others, it feels like connecting dots that were never meant to be connected. And that difference in perspective is exactly what keeps the discussion alive. Because right now, there is no confirmed answer. There are no official findings that verify the larger theories being discussed. There are no reports that establish these patterns as intentional structures. What exists is interpretation, observation, analysis, and a growing sense of curiosity. But here's where it gets interesting. Even without confirmation, the conversation isn't slowing down. If anything, it's growing faster. Because in today's digital world, people don't just consume information. They participate in it. They analyze. They question. They contribute. And when enough people focus on the same topic, it creates momentum, a momentum that can turn small observations into large-scale discussions. But with that comes a challenge, separating possibility from probability. Because just because something can be connected doesn't always mean it should be. Not every pattern tells a story. Not every connection has deeper meaning. And not every unanswered question points to something hidden. Sometimes, things are exactly what they appear to be. But in an environment where trust is constantly being questioned, people often look beyond what is visible. They search for something more. And sometimes, that search leads to assumptions. So, where does all of this leave us? At a point where attention has shifted, what was once considered background noise is now being closely examined. Names that were rarely discussed are now central to ongoing conversations, and connections that once seemed ordinary are now being questioned. But until there is verified information, everything remains in the same place. Speculation, observation, and interpretation. And maybe that's the most important part of this entire story. Not what is being said, but how it's being said. And how quickly perception can change. Because in today's world, it doesn't take proof to start a conversation. It only takes curiosity. And once curiosity turns into pattern, the narrative begins to build itself. The real question is, are people uncovering something meaningful? Or are they simply seeing patterns because they're looking for them? That's something only time and real, verified information can answer. Until then, the conversation continues. If you like the video, share, comment, and follow to Roundtable Celebrity.